So today's video, I'm going to talk about sensory overload and how I manage it or cope or not cope. Right? So I was doing some drawings, right? Now I ain't no artist, so if you're an artistic person, you're going to see childlike thing, but I haven't even colored this one, which I need to color. But I started drawing randomly, and it was, and then I was like, oh my god, actually, this is how I feel on a daily basis, right? So oversensory overload, right, can look very much like this. You've got so much information going in your head, right? This is scatty mics. I'm scatty anyway, so but this is scatty mics, right? So I can't function. I struggle watching TV. I get hypersensitivity of my ears. Everything seems louder, right? Even like creators or videos or programs that I generally normally watch is now feels very heightened. It's too much for the ears. I get visual things that happens. So I need to wear sunglasses in the house. I need to because sometimes I just have the curtains closed. Sometimes it's like, don't bother me, leave me alone, and I have a nap. Or I'm sleeping all day, right? This is where it can get really bad. That's when fatigue is set in. Also, I get twitching of the eyes as well. Normally, that's a warning sign that I'm doing too much mentally, and my body's not coping very well. My brain's getting overloaded, right? I don't know if you suffer the same, but that was a new symptom from last year. That's just started last year, which is really bizarre. But hey ho, here we go. Right, so my brain turns to mush, right? So there's my mushy brain. It does mush. It becomes foggy. So you're talking to me and it's going in one ear and out the other. And it's not that I don't want to listen. It's just like it just doesn't come. It doesn't process. The brain, I don't know. It just like away with the Ferris type of thing. So yeah, then I've got chronic jets. That's my chronic pain, right? My chronic pain is very different to the fibromyalgia, which I don't explain that very well to the doctors if I've got to be honest, because I'm always, because there are so many different symptoms, so I can suffer. So that heaviness and that, and then I crash. So I can't function. I can't get comfortable. I can't sit in the living room. I've got to come in the bedroom. I have pillows propped up. As you can see, I've got a corner pillow, so I have it's like the door's shut and that's it. So I'm unable to regulate anything. Can't regulate, can't do anything. Mentally, I can't do anything. I don't text. I can't have conversations. This is my worst day. Well, my worst times is that I'm not here. No one's home. Comprende, right? Comprende. I can't watch TV. I just like sit in silence, and try find my altar peace. Medium to light, I'm getting the warning signs. So I've got to come away from the computer. I've got to come away from any mental work. Although I can still do physical stuff. So I call them the pottering days. So medium rare, I'm staying at home. I'm not really doing anything. I'm probably in my pajamas most of the time, and I'm like just pottering around. I may get in the shower later on in the evening just to change, just have a fresh pair of pajamas on and stuff. But I'm pottering, right? So light, I probably can do, I would do colouring. Um, I like to, so I can manage watching TV, but it has to be light programs, chick flicks, that those good feel videos. I tend to love films. Or medium, I tend to put light jazz music, or just not overpowering the brain and stuff. So yeah, so light again is probably a Potter day. Still low in social time, so I might be able to keep up with a text conversation, or do something like this, so I can cope with this. So it's like we're maybe able to do, create, do my cards, like journaling and things like that, or doing my creative stuff, or did I say colouring? I probably did, didn't I? I probably did. Yeah. So yeah, how long can it last? Well, how long is a piece of string? Sometimes it just lasts a day. Sometimes it just lasts a few hours. It varies from it's never that's the thing with this. It's never consistent. There's no consistency with it. You don't know how you're going to be. I mean, you could be very up and down. So you could have like morning, like can't function and stuff, but then pick up later on in the afternoon and able to do a little bit more, or be able to interact and stuff. But then on the evening you could crash again. So it there's no there's just inconsistency for how long it's gonna go. It's just, yeah. But normally if I got the warning signs like the flickering of the eye or anything like that, I know that I got to come away from stuff that's too much. Yeah, so I'm beginning to understand it. Weirdest thing was yesterday. I got this. I wanted to be out. I wanted to do something. I already had socialized that day. Went and seen a family member, and me and my son done shopping. So I've already done quite a bit that day. It doesn't seem a lot to people, but for my conditions and that, I've already done quite a bit. But I still felt like I need to get out of four walls. But I could not, like, I think, oh, should I do scripts? No, I can't do that. Should I do creative? No, I can't. I just could not, I put films on, I put programs on, but it wasn't just, I couldn't just absorb it or take things in. So in the end, I took Storm out. We went for a walk in the park. It was only about like 20 minutes. And I managed it. Get me, high five. Right? And yeah, all of a sudden it was almost like, where it was like this, I could feel like the calmness and the peace, and just, it was just like going down, right? It was like my brain was clearing. And then I was hearing the birds singing, and then I had rain on the face, and it was lush. It was just really nice. And there weren't many people there, said good hi, but there weren't many. And I drove back, come home, and I felt better. But as I was texting my family members, I could feel that it was getting too much again. See? So I was like, right, come away from the phone, come away, because I wanted to socialize, and talk, but my brain didn't. So I had a shower, and then I put a film on, and still then, and it was an old film I put on, Sliding Doors. Have you watched that? So, which is a great movie, but again, I couldn't fully absorb it in. I was getting distracted, but I did have a great sleep when I did rest, and I had a bit of brain fog this morning, but as I'm talking to these videos, I'm feeling okay. So yeah, that was weird. That I've never done that before, so that's another thing that's going to be on the list. Go for a walk, if you can, if I can. That's going to be along the list for me of helping with managing the thing. Oddly, I could drive. It's weird, isn't it? I don't know. I don't get it myself, to be honest. It's beyond me in that sense. But yeah. So the worst is debilitating because it can isolate you. Very isolating conditions. But at its best, it helps you to sit with yourself, get to know yourself, and learn new skills, and learn to adapt, having that adaptations as well, that works for you. But unfortunately, you can't commit to it, and it took me a long time. But get this is the weird, because I'm always about random. I always love go with the flow and random. Yet when I had this condition, I struggled with going with the flow and doing randoms. So it's really ironic, isn't it, how that works. I'm learning to engage in that more so now, and I'm getting better at it. But it's took since 2015 to really get grips and probably accept things more. And I find acceptance has helped as well. But don't get me wrong, I get days where I just hate my life and I hate everything about it. So it can be frustrating, especially when you're trying to process things or trying to explain things to a person, to people, and that it makes you feel stupid. It makes you feel like you don't know what you're talking about because the wrong words comes out of your mouth, and it just really, it can knock you back and knock your confidence back too. So yeah, that is like sensory overload, and that's just one part of my part of the condition that I battle with, and no doubt if you're watching this, you battle with too. But it can set us apart, and it can separate us with people. And you don't want to be a moaner all the time, do you? You don't want to be sort of like saying, well, I'm not feeling great today, or how are you? And that's another thing, you haven't got a lot to talk about because you don't do as much like you used to. So there's, so when you go and see friends, they're telling you about what they've been up to. They've gone on holiday, they've done this, they've done that, like that. That's far apart from where your life is. So the communication can make it difficult because you got to do things differently. So that can be a separation too. It's not, your life is not over. It's just you're learning to adapt, and probably what set you apart from the people that you used to hang around with, because you just can't do what they do anymore. So you lose what do they call it? You lose your identity for one, but two, you don't have much in common anymore. it doesn't, because it doesn't, you know, I think because we're social, humans are very social people. Well, some humans, some people just like to be on their own, and that's cool too. But because we fit into our surroundings. I mean, I remember being a single parent, and you know, I hanged around with single parents. It's not very often I hang around with couples, you know, because I didn't have anything really in common with the couple, you know, and they didn't have anything in common with me. And sometimes the female would be insecure because you were a single parent, you know. So, and I understand that, I get that. So, and also the man, the partner, can be insecure. You know, you get accused of like being what they call it, a bad influence on them, because you know you got independence. Yeah. So it's just, yeah, so that can be a bit messed up too. So yeah, you tend to start hanging around with people that fits around you. Well, this is the same, isn't it? This is how it works with this as well. Not saying all everybody's experience that, but from my experience, right now, I struggle with connecting with people. Well, you know, what can I say? Don't do nothing. Well, I do, but I do it differently. I do, and they're not interested in what I do. So, yeah. Anyway, I could have stopped waffling. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and my waffle. And welcome to the waffle group. And yeah, maybe, I don't know. I'm just throwing out what works, what possibly I found easy to do. It might not be easy for you. Maybe you can have support with that. But if you do, you know, have you got health notes? What is it that you do to help you remember when you've got appointments and fill in forms and that? Have you got something in place that helps you? Put it in the comments, because this might not work for somebody. They go, oh God, can't be asked for that, Care. That's too much effort. And I can understand that. I can relate to that. You know, so, but maybe there's something that you say, well, actually this worked for me. Put it in the comments, because it might help somebody, you know? And we're all for supporting each other, aren't we? Anyway, take care, have a great day, and remember, you got this. Whatever you're doing, whatever you're dealing with, you survived previously, and you're here today to live to tell the tale. So, sending lots of love. Have a good one.